What's up, everybody? Today is going to be a video about how I made a sleeping platform to put in my 2000 Toyota 4Runner. It was a very basic design with wood that I had laying around. The basic structure was done with 2x6s that I had in my backyard. Even if you don't have 2x6s laying around, you can easily go to Home Depot and probably spend less than $50 on the required lengths. So to get started, I did the legs first. I did some measuring to see just how much clearance I needed to have, how long I needed to make the legs to be able to clear the back seats when they were folded up. And I determined for the back legs, I needed about 13 inches of height. And then since there's a small slope on the back of the rear seats, those ones needed to be about 11 and a half inches. So I went ahead, cut out two of each of those. And then to support the twin air mattress width-wise, I determined I needed about 36 inches, I think, of clearance. Let me go double check that. It was 37 inches across. That is counting the legs as part of the width too. And then lengthwise, it was 60 inches. And I did 60 because I knew with the air mattress was going to be firm enough that it wouldn't matter if I had some overhang, especially since because of the height of the frame, the portion of the air mattress that was going to be sticking out past the frame was just going to rest on the folded up back seats. So I knew I wasn't going to have any issues there. So you can see I'm just using simple tools here. I used a impact, a DeWalt impact, which you don't have to use that. You could easily do everything that I did with just hammer and nails. You would have to be a little bit more careful. The impact gun is really nice because you can buy drilling bits for it, drill out the holes, and then screw them in, screw everything together. And drilling out the holes, especially with this older, not as fresh wood, drilling out the holes is definitely very helpful to prevent cracking and compromising the wood itself. And besides that, just a simple matter as far as designing the frame. It's really just a matter of putting your mattress back there or some kind of template for how large your sleeping pad is going to be. Because obviously, if you're using a blow up, like a little camping thing that's made to be very compact, it's going to take up a lot less space than this twin air mattress would. But this twin air mattress is what I've slept on in the past, and comfort wise, it's pretty good. So I knew that was what I was going to want to use as my sizing template. So yeah, it's just simple hand tools. Use the saw here to basically cut everything. Everything was cut with the saw. I did have a couple old screws that were protruding through the 2x6s. And what I did for those was if I couldn't drill them out and then, either pull them out with some vice grips or bang them out with a hammer, then I took my die grinder with the flap disc and just ground them down flat. So super rudimentary, but it worked. It's going to stop things from popping or, cutting you or ripping any fabric that you put into the back with you, which is obviously a good thing. So the way I went about constructing this was I made the legs, measured them out, then I measured out the across the arm going across, attaching the two legs, and then I just made the fronts and the backs separate from each other. So I cut out two by sixes that were 37 inches across, attach them to the legs, and I didn't use any wood glue for this, but I would recommend that. Um, and it doesn't take you really that much longer at all to incorporate wood glue, because you should always be measuring twice and cutting once. Which, if you measure once, measure twice, you know you're good to go. Then you just you spray you apply a little bit of glue on the contact surfaces, and then at that point you can go ahead and screw them or nail them together, and it's just going to make it that much stronger. I didn't do this, but I feel confident enough that this platform isn't just going to completely break on me, even though my wood skills are definitely not the best, but they don't need to be for a project like this. You can easily accomplish this within a day or even half a day's work with all the tools that you see that I have. And I have zero woodworking experience, as you may or may not be able to tell. So you shouldn't feel intimidated by doing something like this. But anyways, you can see I have the rear portion completed with the legs. I made the rear portion, made the front portion, kind of put them in the back of the truck where I thought they would need to be. I played around with the length that I wanted the long the length of the 2x6s to be to connect the two. I found that um, right around 58 inches was going to be good to connect the two from the very back of my truck to the very front, right behind the rear seats. So I cut them out with that, and then obviously with the 2x6s, I'm sorry, it wasn't 58 inches, it would have been 56 inches to account for the two 2-inch 2x4s. So 56 inches long for the 2x6s going connecting the front to the back, and then the front and the back supports are each 2 inches, so that 56 plus 4 is 60 inches altogether. And again, you can see everything here is getting pre-drilled, and that's really just going to cut down on making a mistake with drilling into the wood and cracking the wood. I would not do this project without pre-drilling, because it makes everything fit better. It makes it go together easier, and it's going to make it stronger in the long run, because you're not going to be compromising the strength of the wood by cracking into it by just drilling straight into it without pre-drilling the holes. Now that I took the mattress out, I can get around to measuring the the front and the back portions of the legs. And this is where I came up with the 56 inches to connect the two. Just a simple matter of figuring out what length, what size you're going to need, measuring it out twice, making sure it's exactly what you want. I'd measure the two lengths from the front and back legs, mark it up on the wood or measure it on the wood, then go back, make double sure that's what you need on the clearances between the front and the back, and then go ahead, after you measure out the wood again, go ahead and mark it for the length that you need and start cutting it. Just so you guys know, if you're worried about your height and if this is going to work for you height wise, I'm 6'2", And obviously with the twin mattress in the back of my truck with the sleeping platform, I have more than enough room lengthwise. It is a little tight height-wise. There's not a lot of headroom. But again, this sleeping mattress is going to get replaced with a 4-inch foam pad. So it's going to give me a little bit more headroom there. All right, so for connecting these two, I just turned them upside down, got the 2x6s in place to connect them where I wanted to. As far as actually fastening them together, I pre-drilled holes at about a 45-degree angle going through the length piece and connecting them and drilling into the leg piece. That's going to basically tack them in place, as a welder would say. It's not really too structurally sound at this point, but it's going to allow you to move it around and the pieces are going to be connected. And then once everything's pre-drilled, you run the screws home. All right, now we got it flipped over. Everything's connected on the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing on the top. I'm going to drill through the length piece and the leg pieces at about a 45-degree angle. And again, that's just going to save you some time. You're not going to mess up the wood that way. Everything's going to fit together a lot easier. And now with these top and bottom screws in, this piece is going to be a lot stronger. And you can see I only put in a couple slats on the bed frame, and this is another way to cut down on costs. Those slats are actually from a pallet, and the way that you can separate the boards off the pallet is 2 flathead screwdrivers. You nail the screwdrivers in around the bolts, slowly pry up, then use vice grips to pull them out the rest of the way. I only did 3 because, again, the air mattress is going to have a decent amount of structure to it. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of clearance once that mattress was put in there, but that's okay because this is a very thick twin. It's an 8-inch thick mattress, so I'll definitely be getting a 4-inch foam pad to use instead, and that's going to give me a little bit more headroom. If you guys found this useful, please go ahead, like the video, give my channel a subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to start making a little bit more camping style videos because as it gets cooler out, it's going to be, a fun thing to do. Till next time.